What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3. Hopefully you've watched the past 2 episodes. I know a lot of you have been watching the shorts and getting involved in that, which is really amazing. I hope that this would resonate with people, but I really didn't expect it to take off so quickly. I know a lot of the things I touched on the past 2 episodes they've really hit home with a couple people. And some sad. I wish it didn't hit home, and I wish that some people didn't go through the things they went through. But I mean, having an outlet to talk about it and get through some of these things, I feel like it's going to be very, very beneficial. We're going to try not to say like a million times. I just got to get my thoughts out. Don't interrupt my thought while I'm thinking it and be like. So we're definitely working on that. Hopefully it didn't bother a lot of you, but we'll find out. We're going to work on it. Let's get into it. So this episode is going to be kind of about abuse and acting out. I brought a paper this time, so I don't just lose track of my thought. We can actually stick on thoughts and not bounce around. Hopefully that helps with the likes, because when it's coming out of my head, it tends to be an issue. So we talked about the sexual stuff I went through as a kid. Around that same age, I started going to this babysitter. I don't know if I should name her just in case. I don't want to get sued. I know Eminem got sued by a lot of people. I'm nowhere near Eminem, of course. I'm not saying that, but you never know where it could go. And I just don't want to be put in that position. So we'll just say something that rhymes with it. This one's going to be kind of crazy. I'm going to talk about something I don't really want out there, because to me it's gross. It makes me feel weak. I don't really like it, but I mean, I was a kid. I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. This was before I started kindergarten, leading into kindergarten, because I remember I'd have to go there sometimes after school because it was like half days when you're in kindergarten. But this babysitter, let's call her Rita. Other name starts with a Z, rhymes with it, figure it out. But I didn't say it, so you can't put that on me. But Rita was one of the worst people I've ever met. Probably one of the worst. She eventually got charges for child abuse, thank God. But she deserved it long, long before she got it. So I would go to her in the mornings before school, and then, like I said, after school sometimes. And I hated it. I remember one time I called, and I'm pretty sure I pretended to be my mom, or I just was me, and I was like, hey, we're not coming today, and so, yeah, I won't see you. And when we got there, she's like, oh, I thought you guys weren't coming. And my mom was like, what are you talking about? Well, you called. I didn't call you. Jarod, what? I was like, I didn't want to come. I don't like it. So I didn't. Dude, it sucked. It sucked so bad. I have a huge hatred for sloppy joes because of this lady. One time where she made lunch, and I was like, I don't like it. I don't like it. It was disgusting. I hated it. And then she was like, nope, you're going to eat it. She forced me to eat it. I kept telling her, I don't like it. I don't want to do this. But that didn't matter. This lady was nuts. So she forced me to eat it. I ended up throwing up all over the table. She whipped my ass. Like, she was not a very good person. So she whips my ass. I've got to go to the room, go to bed. That was one of her punishments. And she was like crazy. We've said like twice, but we're over it. We're good. But she was crazy. I remember one time this little 6-month-old, maybe a year old. It was a baby in a high chair, little baby, and the baby's doing what babies do and just crying. This lady slapped this baby in the face like 3 times, 4 times. I don't know how she got away with this stuff as long as she did. One time we were playing it was a ring around the rosy type game where we're just running around in the bedroom, and this kid falls and he smashes the metal frame, and he's gushing blood, and she's tripping. She starts screaming at me, telling me that I did it, and we all explain, like, I didn't push him, I didn't do anything, but I was the bad kid. I was the one without the dad who acted out, I guess, and it was bad. Kids bleeding all over. I'm getting screamed at. I don't think I got hit that time, but I think that might have been one of the only times I didn't get hit. It was bad. So I get in trouble for that. She would put us down for naps, and if we didn't nap, she would just come in and just start whipping our ass. Like, it was crazy. She'd come in, grab you, and just start smacking the shit out of you. Again, I was like 4 or 5. The other kids were the same age. I think there might have been. I think I was the oldest one, because I know once you hit a certain age, you didn't have to nap, and she would let you play her son's Game Gear. Her son is the one this is something I don't want to talk about, but she would let you play her son's Game Gear and you could just play games. That was pretty cool. I appreciate that. But her son also sucked. He was in high school. We were little kids. He thought he was cool as shit. He would pick on us. He would do things just to be an asshole. And I don't want to say it. I hate this. But it needs to be out there. Like, it needs to be out there. So he would fart, and then he'd put our heads in his crotch, like right in his taint, and just make us smell it. It was terrible. It was bullshit. It's probably one of the reasons why I am who I am today, and I just want to beat people's ass. I don't go out and beat people's ass, but if you give me the opportunity to beat some ass, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to love every second of it. I think that might be a big part of it, on top of the getting bullied and just being picked on all the time and not being able to defend myself. But yeah, I hated that. It was disgusting. It was bullshit. We're kids. He's putting our face in his crotch. It was just terrible. So she was just a terrible person. Her son was kind of a shitty person. We would get in trouble, like if we were teething or something and we chewed up blocks, you're getting your ass beat. If you did anything that she didn't like, you're getting your ass beat. It was insane. And we would tell our parents, like I would tell my mom all the time, she hits us, she does this, and she's like, well, I didn't believe you. We talked about it recently because now she understands it was true. And she was like, well, I didn't believe you because, you used to tell me all kinds of stuff. You told me blah, 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 blah. You even called her and lied to her and said we weren't coming. So what was it? How am I supposed to believe you? You used to lie about everything. Which, granted, I probably did. I probably was lying about all kinds of stuff. I wasn't the best kid. I had already gone through sexual stuff. I had already just been labeled something that I guess I was, but I don't feel like I was. I always felt like I had a big heart, and I was just stuck in shitty situations. And it was the same going into school. So, ADHD, I have terrible ADHD. Now I know how to control it, so I call it my superpower. I love having it. It's my favorite thing. I really do enjoy ADHD. I don't medicate it. I don't do nothing. I just learned how to use it. I learned that if I bounce from task to task, they're all going to get done eventually, as long as you don't fight it. You go here, you do this, do a little this, a little this, a little this. Eventually, you're going to end up right back here, and then you're going to get all of these things done. So I enjoy it. It's my superpower. But undiagnosed ADHD, I was super smart. We used to play Around the World, which I don't think kids play anymore, which is crazy to me. Around the World was the funnest game ever. It was so competitive. There was me and this kid, Derek. He was smart as hell too. And it would be me versus him. Sometimes I'd beat him, sometimes he'd beat me, but we were tearing up all the other kids. If you don't know what Around the World is, it's where they have flashcards with multiplication. So like 2 times 4, 4 times 8. And you'd walk up to, it'd be you versus someone. Bust out the flashcard, first person that says it, You go to the next person. Bust out another one, first person that gets the answer, go to the next one. And it was just me and Derek. I remember clearly. Me and him were the ones. We would tear everybody up. When it came to me and him, it was close. I'm not saying I won all the time. He didn't win all the time. Like, we were the ones that went head to head. It was so fun. I love math. It was so fun. And I would get bored. So when we were doing stuff, I'd either get done or I would be super talkative. I'd be flirting. I'd be just doing things. And when I got bored, I would act out. And it would turn into like me saying stuff to the teacher or me saying stuff to other students. And the teachers used to always say, oh, this drove me nuts. Well, he wants attention. Jarod wants attention. Look at Jarod. And that would piss me off because I wasn't going for attention. I didn't care. I was just me having fun being me. I hated that. I don't like attention. Maybe I do. I wouldn't be doing this podcast if I didn't like attention. So that's a lie. But that's not what I was doing. I was just reckless, I guess. I was a kid going through a divorce. I had a father that wanted the VCR more than he wanted his kids. He was in our life for a very small amount of time while he was building his other family. Once he had his other family, he disappeared and vanished. And you just feel unwanted, you feel spiteful, you feel unloved, you wonder if it's your fault. You turn into this little monster. And then the more people label you that little monster, the more you become the little monster. And it's such a fucked up situation for adults to put that on kids. You tell a kid like, oh, you're just this bad kid. Oh, you're just acting out. Oh, you just want attention. You just do this. You do that. And eventually they're stuck in that. They're okay. You keep telling me that that's what I am, so I guess that's what I am. I guess this is the role I get to play. Didn't mean to do that, but this is the role I get to play. And it just becomes their identity. It becomes who they are. And it's just not right. It's not cool for adults to put that on kids. It's not cool for kids to have to deal with it. It's not cool for kids to think that they are lesser than they are. Every kid's a good kid. Every kid has a good heart until something cracks that heart. And it starts as one little chip, and then another chip, and then another chip, and then another chip. And eventually that heart fixes itself by hardening. And these kids just become bad. Or they have terrible role models. They have terrible people in their corner. They've got adults that should be positive role models that are gangsters, that are trying to lure them into being gangsters. And then those kids become the bad kid. They become the one that you have to watch out for. There's a lot of those at my son's school, and it sucks. And then I'm trying to help kids. I even catch myself being like, fuck that kid, which is the exact opposite of what I should be doing. But it's just ingrained in us, and these poor kids, they get molded into something they shouldn't be, and that good kid, that kid with a heart of gold, just gets beat down and turned into something he's not. And that's what happened to me. I was a good kid that just got labeled as a bad kid, and the craziest part is the label follows you throughout school. So one teacher talks to another, because they all talk, they're all friends, they're colleagues, whatever. And then it follows. Oh, you're getting Jarod? Oh, that sucks. Oh, you better watch out for this. He's going to be seeking attention. And then you go from one year to the next. Now this teacher's treating you the same way. This teacher's treating you the same way. And you just become the person that they say you are. And it's absolutely insane. If you've been through that, or if you've ever had oh, he's the class clown. He just wants attention. He's just a bad kid. You bet. Look at his brothers. He's gonna be the same way as his brothers. My brothers were cool. They weren't like that, but there are those examples. There are the examples of, oh, this kid had a bad brother. Not even bad. You know what I mean? But this brother acted out, so he's going to act out too. You better watch out. And it's just not right. And I mean, it followed me all the way through school, and I just kept getting worse and worse and worse. I had one teacher, I believe, it wasn't the third grade, it was in second grade, because my third grade teacher was awesome. When school ended and I had to move to fourth, which is a totally different school, I was the last one to leave. I sat there and I cried. I was like, I don't want to go. And I feel like in that moment she realized, oh, this kid's not a bad kid. This kid's got a huge heart. He just had bad experiences, had bad showings, and I remember her being so cool about it, which I'm sure I gave her hell the whole year. And then she finds out, oh, this kid's got a big heart. He doesn't want to leave. I was like, I don't want, you're the best teacher. And I wonder what that feels like to be like, oh, this shitty kid. And then the last day of school, he's like, you're the best. And she's like, wait, you think I'm the best? I thought you hated me. I thought you were acting out because you didn't respect me. And it was the exact opposite. You know, it's like, I respect her so much. I like her so much. I just have shit going on. My brain isn't wired right. ADHD wasn't really a thing in that point. So that's got to be such a crazy feeling, because she was cool. Like when she realized that she was so cool and nice, and she gave me a hug, and I remember leaving, I'm all teary-eyed and crying and sad, but she made it okay. She made it all right. But in second grade, I had a teacher. She dragged me out of class. I don't remember what I was doing, probably causing a scene or distracting the kids or doing something, but she dragged me out of the class. She puts me up against the wall, and she digs her fingernails just into my shoulder as hard as she can, and she sits me down. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the feeling of that. I remember crying, and I remember going, she dug her claws into me. Like, it was so bad. I'll never forget that experience, which is crazy. I'm 35 years old now, and I will never forget that in second grade, what she did. And we have those people around our kids. We have people like that telling our kids they're bad, treating our kids like they're bad, treating them like they're lesser than the other kids, treating them like they shouldn't even be here and that they're a burden to them. And it's not okay. It's something that our children will never forget. Oh, they'll tuck it away. They'll bury it deep, but they'll never forget it. It's ingrained into them, and it's gonna follow them. It's gonna turn them into things that they shouldn't be, things that they don't want to be, people they don't want to be. It's gonna harden their heart. Heart of gold can turn to ash real quick, and it's sad. We've got to watch the people that are around our kids. We've got to watch the people that are teaching our kids. I think that's why teachers get so much flack nowadays, because us as adults, we remember going through so much, and now we're overprotective. Like, the second a teacher steps out of line, we're on the teacher's ass, which we shouldn't be doing that either. We should have respect for the teachers, but it's hard to fully understand what's happening when you don't fully understand that person. You don't know how they're treating your kid. And then we get different stories from our kids because our kids are kids. And we just don't, it's a battle. So I feel like it might change because of the way our kids are. They're going to be different. And that's just the way society goes. You had the ones that were getting paddled. Oh, the paddle. How many of you remember the paddle? I was just on the cusp of when that got taken out. There were kids that got hit with it. I never got hit with it because you had to have permission, and my mom never gave permission for that. Oh, but the paddle. That just brought back so many memories. I remember I would get in trouble all the time, acting out, talking back, things like that. So my reputation was preceding me. Hopefully that's the right word. If not, let me know. I might have said the wrong thing, but I'm human. But yeah, my reputation followed me. One time, we used to do rock fights. Crazy little kids. I couldn't imagine doing a rock fight as an adult. It sounds terrible. But we had like little pebbles where you'd take handfuls and you'd throw the pebbles at each other and you'd run around and you'd just be pegging each other with rocks. And this one kid, he was big. I could probably say his name, Javi. We'll say Javi because that's not a full name. That could be a nickname. If he watches this and he's upset, let me know. I'll take it out. But Javi, he was this bigger kid, and he was a real cool friend. Like, when we were kids, we were friends. Later on, we weren't friends, and their stuff happened. But he takes this rock, and he throws it. Whoa! Except it wasn't the pebbles. And he throws this rock, and it pegs this kid in the head and busts him open. And we all have to go to the office. He's got his head all wrapped up. I think he ended up getting stitches. It was bad. Where are we at time-wise? I don't even think that clock ever started. But he ends up getting stitches. 39. All right, I have to cut that out. 39, yeah, we'll find it. So he ends up getting stitches. I remember we're all sitting around the table. We got in trouble, no more rock fights. Got the stitches on. He's got like his head all wrapped. It was bad. And that was just something we used to do as crazy kids. Couldn't imagine, rock fight. I don't know if kids still do that. Maybe that's why kids are getting soft. They're not throwing rocks at each other. But that was something we did, and we all got in trouble for it. That doesn't look good. And I got in trouble one time, and I get sent to the office, and the principal threatens me. He pulls out the paddle, big, huge wooden paddle, and he pulls out the paddle, and he's like, do you want to get hit with this? Do you want? And oh, no, I'm crying. He's like, you want this? You're going to get this if you keep it up. And I'm bawling my eyes out, and I get sent back to class, and I'm all, I'm good. And they're all, did you get hit with the, it's okay, you can tell us you got hit with it, huh? And I was like, no, I didn't get hit with it, I'm good, all right. Oh man, he got hit with the paddle. I didn't, I got threatened and I got scared and I cried. But yeah, I was right on the cusp. Some of you might have been at the paddle age. If you were at the paddle age, how bad was it? It seemed like a giant, it probably didn't hurt that much. I heard some of them had holes in it so you could really get a whoosh and just, I couldn't imagine. We were right at the cusp, didn't get the paddle. Another time I got in trouble, they sent me to the principal and the chief of police was there. And they're like, if you continue to get in trouble, we're gonna take you away from your mom. We're gonna take you and put you in a foster home, and you're never gonna see your family again, so you better shape up, but we're gonna take you away from your family, so you better shape up. And I'm crying. I was like, I don't want to go from my mom, and it was terrible. Hopefully, I don't know. I doubt they were really gonna do it, but the fact that they did that was traumatizing. I don't feel like I was that bad. I did okay. The more I'm talking about it, the more stuff is coming back. I remember I punched this little girl in her back. I mean, it doesn't matter where I punched her, but I punched this little girl in her back. We were in the same class. I don't remember what she did or said, but I punched her. I got in trouble for that. And I remember her being like, I have issues and I've got this and that, and he could have killed me. And I felt terrible. So yeah, my reputation, the more I'm looking back at it, the more I'm like, oh yeah, you were kind of a shitty person. Holy shit. Even at that age. That was wild. I mean, it's hard to make excuses. That was also, I think, in second grade. It's hard to make excuses, but, I had already gone through sexual stuff with people. I'd already been beat by a babysitter. My dad left, didn't want nothing to do with us. So I was just turning into what they said I was. I kept getting told I was these things, and I was just turning in to what they were telling me I was. And I was just acting out. The part that really gets me is when a kid's acting like that, you should find the cause. You should figure it out. You shouldn't just be like, this is a bad kid. This kid, he's done. There's no hope for him. You don't say that about a second grader. Clearly there's something going on in this kid's head, in this kid's life, and he needs someone to help. He needs someone to be there, be the bigger person, and not just he or she. They need someone to help. You never know what's happening in a kid's life. If a kid is being bad, there's a reason that kid is bad. We're not born bad. People just go, oh, that's a bad kid, stay away from him. And they don't even think about why. They don't even try to figure out what is going on in that kid's life. There's no reason that a second grader should be punching people, should be acting out, should be being wild, and you just chalk it up to that kid being bad. Why is that kid acting like this? What is making this kid act out? What is happening in their life? What has happened in their life? And people just sweep it under the rug. We talked about that before. People just sweep it under the rug. That, yeah, he's a bad kid. She's a bad kid. She's got a bad family. Then figure out why. How are we going to just identify a kid as bad when kids aren't bad? Kids just want to be kids. They just want to be loved. They want to have fun. They want to just experience life and learn things and learn why this does this, or if I do this, what happens? No kid is just born bad. And it's so crazy to me that I was that kid, and instead of anybody trying to figure it out or ask what happened or dig a little deeper, they were just like, nah, let's call the cops. Let's threaten the kid so he loses his family. No, let's threaten him with the paddle. Well, let's just say he's bad. Let's do this. Instead of figuring out, why is this kid acting like this? Clearly, he's got a big heart. Clearly, most kids, if not all kids, have big hearts. It's got to be all kids. Like, all kids have big hearts. So we need to figure out why this kid is acting like this. Is it their family life? Is it some sort of trauma they went through? Is there someone that's making them do things they don't want to do? We can't just brush it under the rug that they're a bad kid. Why is this kid acting like that? We really need to step it up as adults. 100%. And I need to step it up. I can't keep being upset when my son goes, oh, this kid does this, and I'm all, fuck that kid. You stay away from him. I need to figure out how I can help. I need to step it up and figure out why this kid is like that. Some kids, I know why they're like that. They've got gangster parents or gangster uncles. They've got people trying to teach them to be bad. And no kid wants to be bad. They want to be cool. They want to act tough. They want to do that. And they've got someone teaching them the wrong way to be tough. You know what's tough? Being able to cry and not feel like a pussy. Being able to stand up for someone and tell someone, hey, you know, you're better than this. That's a tough person. Someone that's not afraid to stand up for the little guy. That's someone tough, not someone picking on the little guy. And these kids don't have that. So I need to step that up too. That's definitely somewhere where I'm lacking, and I realize it when I say it too. There's been times where I've told Skylar, like, don't do that, and I'm like, well, how can I say that? How can I say stuff like that when that's who I was, and that's who I'm trying to help? How am I supposed to help someone when I'm judging them? And I catch myself, and I try to fix it, but I still need to be even better. It doesn't make sense that we have become so keen to just label kids, and then that's just what it is. That's a bad kid. Why? What made them this way? Why does that kid want to fight and scream and cuss instead of just be a kid? Why does that kid want to act out instead of go play? we're just going to ignore that. It makes zero sense. And I need to step it up. We need to step it up as a society. Hopefully you're looking at me and you're going, damn, bro, that's sad. And you have already stepped it up. And you're better than me. I truly hope that if you're watching this, you are. Or you're watching this and you're going, yeah, we do. And then we take that step and we make this world better. The best way to make this world better is to start with our kids. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do for sure, but we need to help our kids. We need to make sure that these bad kids aren't being hurt or harmed or taken advantage of, or they've got a good home life. They don't have bad role models. We need to figure out why these bad kids are bad. Because again, there's no bad kids. There's lost souls. There's poor babies that are going through something. And yeah, we need to step it up. The more I've talked about it, the more I'm like, damn, I've got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot to work on. How am I going to help people if I'm judging? I can't. And I need to figure that out. But I'm glad we're talking about it, because the more we learn, the more we realize things, the more we can grow and the more we can help people. So it's just crazy to me that's where we're at. And it's great. Like I said, it followed me through so far. I love that I have notes. I'm glad I did that. But yeah, it followed me forever. I remember being in 7th grade and I had a teacher. This one I know the name. I'll probably keep it out just in case. But he was such a douchebag. Such a douchebag. I had a lot of good teachers that really, really understood what I was going through, or not even what I was going through, but understood that there was layers to it. I'm an onion, you know. I'm a stinky little onion, but there was layers to it, and they were nice and they were cool. There was other teachers like this guy, who he had his mindset what I was. And I remember one time I was in ISS, in school suspension. I had to talk to the principal. I knock on the door. I'm like, hey, can I talk to the principal? No, you can't. Get out of here. We're doing something. And I was like, all right, man, fucking dick. Whatever, cool. And then another time, I don't remember what he did, but he put his hands on me. He did something and he goes, oh, tough guy. And he puts his hands on me. And I grabbed him by his shirt and I just, boom, put him up against the wall. And I was like, don't you ever fucking put your hands on me. And he lets go, whoa, whoa. And the other teachers were, oh my God. I was like, don't ever fucking touch me. No, it's not happening. And I guarantee that just added to my shit list. Oh, look, he's even putting his hands on teachers. He is such a bad kid. I did a lot of stuff to add to that reputation, for sure. There's no question about it. But it's crazy to think, like, what would have happened if I did have someone to figure stuff out, to help me figure something out and to just guide me a little bit. But then I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't be trying to help people. So I'm very grateful for everything I've been through. I'm very grateful that I was the bad kid. I'm very grateful for all the teachers that didn't give me the time of day, the ones that did label me, because if they didn't, I wouldn't want to help people. I mean, I might be better financially. I might be better off in the world, you know, if that makes sense. I might be completely different. But I don't think I'd want to help people. I don't think I'd want to do the things that I do. And I really don't think that it would have made me the person I am today. So I'm so grateful for all the things that I've gone through. It's very hard to be grateful for the bad. I always say thank you for the good, the bad. I'll switch it up. I say Thank you for the good things that have happened to me, and thank you for the things that I thought were bad, because the things that I thought were bad are what made me who I am today. And I'm happy with the person I'm becoming. I might not be happy with the person I am currently, but I mean I am and I'm not, because I just know I can do better. So there was just so much that made me who I am. But I think that we don't need to put our kid, there's going to be enough kids that don't get the guidance and help. So we should definitely take time and figure out some of the kids that need help and help them. We're not going to get to them all, and hopefully those kids turn into beautiful adults that want to help others because of the stuff they went through, and they don't go down a very bad path and end up in prison or on drugs or homeless or just causing more pain. Hopefully the ones that we do let slip through the cracks, that we don't want to, but the ones that we do let slip through the cracks, they become better because of it. But we should still work to help the ones that we can. We should still help the ones that we see, the bad kids. We should definitely help the bad kids. Some will fall through the cracks. Hopefully they become something that they can be proud of, and they don't end up being something that they hate. But we should work to help as many as we can. We really should. There's too many kids going through hell. There's too many kids labeled as bad, and there's too many that are going through it and acting out, and nobody's there to help them. There's nobody to take a second and just be like, hey, what makes you do this? What happened in your life that makes you want to fight instead of play? You're 7 years old. Why are you fighting people? Why do you think you have to fight everybody? Why? Just why? We really need to take a second and figure it out, especially if you're in the education business. The education career, that sounds better than the education business. But yeah, especially if you're in education, especially if you're a teacher that's labeling some kid, why don't you take a second, have them stay after school, and just talk? Like, what's going to be the big issue if you do that? I have done really well on the likes. I'm killing it. I've said it a few times. It slipped, but I've said it a few times, and we're good. See, what else is on the list? 5th grade Windsor. Oh, yeah. So I did go through... I had that reputation. I went through it so much. And then I went to middle school. I was in 5th grade. 5th grade in Eaton was middle school. It's not anymore. But I went to middle school for about a half a year. It's doing terrible. There's this kid that came, and he was like bragging about being in juvie, and you know me, I thought that was so cool. So he became one of my best friends. At a point, we were friends, and we'd fight, and then we'd be friends, and we'd fight, and then we'd be friends, and we'd fight. But he became such a good friend. I thought I was such a badass, even though I wasn't. I was such an idiot. But my mom, she was working in Windsor. We lived in Eaton, so it was a totally different town. And she found a house, and we moved from my grandparents. I told you before, we were 6 people in a 2-bedroom. She was finally doing decent enough to where we could move. So we moved to Windsor. I hated it. I got pulled out of school. I left all my friends. It was the middle of the year. It was terrible. I hated it. But we moved to Windsor, and at first I was a loner. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I was a fat kid, so I'd always wear sweatpants, and I'd get picked on like, all you do is wear sweatpants, because I don't know, it's what I felt comfortable in, I guess, because I was fat. And I would spend my recesses along the fence, because there was this dog. There were a couple dogs that were on the fence line, and they were so nice, and I would just hang out with the dogs and just pet them and just talk to them, and that's how I would spend my time when we first got there. One kid comes up to me, he's with 2 girls, And he's like, hey, you don't have any friends? I'll be your friend. And I stand up and I go, well, now we have to fight. He's like, what? I was like, we gotta fight you now. I was like, what the hell? And I didn't know how to fight. I'm just like trying to push him and like grab him and swing him around. And it was the dumbest thing ever. And I'm trying to do that. He ends up getting, like, we stop. He goes away. And at some point, he hurts himself during recess, so he goes to the nurse. And I go up to the girls. I was like, did he go to the office because of me? And they're all, no. Like, you guys didn't even do anything. You like, tried to swing him, or I don't know what you were doing. But that's who I was when I first got there. Eventually, I started making friends. I started doing well. I didn't have the teachers that associated me with being bad. They actually gave me the time of day. They were actually nice to me, and I was doing great. I was getting A's and B's. I was killing it. I was kind of popular. I had friends, and it was great. Just stepping away from that reputation made a world of difference. It was so nice. It's crazy how not having all these evil eyes on you will make you turn into something that you should be. It didn't last long. My mom ended up losing her job. Someone came in and took it. They were very, very evil about it. You know, people like to test your pride. And they're smart. So they're all, we'll give you an opportunity. She worked there for years and years and years. Gosh, she made the worst decision. But they gave her an option. We can fire you, and you can walk out of here fired, or you can quit with dignity. Knowing that in Colorado, if you quit a job, you don't get unemployment, you don't get nothing, there's nothing, no severance, none of it. So her, being prideful and stupid, I'm not saying she's stupid, but you know, when you're prideful, you're stupid. She goes, fine, I quit. And it crushed us. There's no more income. We're losing the house. And we ended up back in the 2-bedroom home, 6 people. So it didn't last long, but just being away from those people that have that view of you, I was killing it. I was doing great. I even hung out. Some of the kids I hung out with, mind you, we're in 5th grade. They were huffing paint and like huffing gas and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. I wasn't into that at that point. I was super anti-drug, which is crazy with what I became. I was so anti-drug. I thought it was the worst thing ever. But they loved to huff paint. And I remember the last day of school, we're in the auditorium. To me, this is still crazy. But we're in the auditorium. And the principal's talking, and he goes quiet, and I'm just, you suck! And I scream it out, and everybody starts cracking up. We're all laughing, having a good time. The teachers pretended like they didn't hear it, or they didn't hear it. They pulled me and my friend out, and they're like, why are you guys laughing? Like, what is going on? We're just super excited, you know? It's the last day. We're excited. And they're all right, go back. So they were cool. I'm sure, of course, they heard it, because we're cracking up. There's no way you didn't hear it. And then we go back, and we go back to class, and a bunch of most of the people, the kids were in class already. The teacher wasn't there. And I walk in, and they're cheering, and they're chanting, and they're like, Jared, Jared. It was so cool. It was so cool for a little kid. I hated it at the time. I was like, stop. All right, keep going. Stop it. You know? And then I remember I'm going to leave. And I grab my backpack, and they're all, yeah, go for it. And I run out the door. And I was like, never mind. And I run back in. And I was like, nah, I'm not going to go. I didn't have that big of balls at that point. And then another kid, he takes off, and he's like, all right, following my lead. And he actually took off. I don't know what he did. But, yeah, I got scared. I threw my backpack outside, and then I ended up having to go get it later because I was too scared to leave. But it was cool. It was so cool to be away from that reputation. I'm so glad that I didn't build it up because I was definitely headed that way, trying to fight the kid. realizing I'm a pussy, and then I was definitely heading that way. But it was so cool to get out of that reputation. There's probably so many kids that are just stuck in that reputation, and they don't want to be bad. Everybody around them is treating them like they're bad, so their defenses are up. They've got to put on that tough act. And if we can just sit them down, talk to them, maybe talk to people around them, and just get them out of that situation, there's probably so many kids that would just change who they are and just breathe a sigh of relief and be like, I can be myself. I can be the kid that I am. I'm not this bad kid. I don't want to fight all the time. I don't want people looking at me like I'm bad. I don't want to be the kid that people don't want to be around, the kid that doesn't have friends. I don't want to be that. And if we could just give them that out, there's probably so many that would take it. We just have to be the ones to give them that out. Some might be stuck. Like I said, some have terrible role models. They have terrible family. They've got a lot of bad influences, especially the ones that have gangster dads or gangster family members, gangster uncles. Some might not be able to get out, but it's up to us to give them an opportunity to try. If someone would have gave me that, I probably would have thrived. Again, I'm glad it didn't happen. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I wouldn't have my son. I probably would have met different people, had different kids, and I love my kids. I love my son. I love my daughter. I love that I've gone through stuff. I wish that I would get past it a little sooner, but I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't think I've gotten through it yet fully because I haven't done what I'm supposed to. I haven't become the person that I'm supposed to yet. And I feel like this is making me who I'm supposed to be. The amount of people that commented and got behind the shorts and the stuff from our previous episodes just lets me know that we're heading right down the right path. And I can't do this without you. I can't do it without people subscribing. I can't do it without people liking and following. I can't do it. I'm getting a lot of traction, but we still need to grow. We still need those likes. We need those follows. We need those subscribers. So hopefully the more you guys see what we're here for, the more you see how much we're trying to do good, the quicker you guys will be like, all right, I'm going to actually follow. I've commented, I've liked the video, but I'm going to follow. I'm going to see where this is going. I'm going to jump on this train right as it's taking off instead of being one of the people that gets on once it gains traction and it gains speed. I am so grateful for the few that have followed and liked and subscribed and done all that, because I don't know what it is about us, but being one of the first to like and follow and subscribe, it feels weird. It's almost as if we're afraid to show that support or to get behind someone that's just starting out. And then you hear about like the people who start from the bottom and they grow. They've got their ride or die people that were there from the beginning. Like, I was here from 50 subscribers. I was here from 2. I'm one of your first people. Those are real people. That's just respect. People that don't let their ego block them from being like, I like this person. I'm just going to follow them. Even though they got 0 followers or they got 1 follower, I'm going to follow them. Why not? Let's see. They seem legit. But a lot of us, we let our ego. I do the same thing. I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, they only got 4 views. I'm not even going to watch it. Which is crazy because there's probably people out there that have 4 views that have some fire content that we're just missing out on. And we're just not letting our ego go, and we're just not willing to take that chance. Because in our minds, we see it as, oh, they got 4 views, it must suck. not realizing that the algorithm just doesn't push them because they've got 4 views. And there's probably some fire content, some amazing people, some incredible things that we're missing out on just because we're looking at those numbers, we're looking at the amount of followers, and we're just assuming must not be good. And then a year from now, we'll see that same person and they've got thousands of followers, thousands of views, and we're, oh, I'll check this out. Yeah, all right, maybe I'll watch this one. And we missed out on some fire content. That's one thing that kind of sucks, because I know the beginning episodes aren't going to get love. They're not going to get seen. And there's some good quality content in there. There's some really good stuff that'll hit home, that can help people, that'll make people understand they're not the only ones that have gone through things, or make people realize, oh, we are kind of failing our kids. Maybe we should step it up. And there's a lot of people that want to help, that want to do something, and they're just going to miss out on seeing that they can be on it from the start. We can all help people. If I'm helping people, it's because of you, which means we're all helping people. I am glad to give credit. I had someone comment and say, our government should be doing this stuff, not this guy that wants clout. I'm cool with giving the other people clout. You know how many times I've said other people have done things that I've done just because I don't care? How many times I've put people's names on stuff because I know that it'll make them feel good? It's in I believe it's in the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's someone, he was trying to partner with, I think it was it was 2 train companies, I believe. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But it's from How to Win Friends and Influence People. I know that. And I believe it's 2 train companies. One wanted to merge with the other. So in order to get them to merge, he went to him and he was like, we should merge. He's like, I don't know. He's like, well, how does this sound? And he used his name first, and then so he used the person he wanted to merge with, his name before his own. And the person was like, sounds pretty good. Because people want that acknowledgement. They want, I don't care. Put your name first. Put me last. Don't even put my name. We can say you help people. You can be the guy that hands the money. I don't care. Let's just help people. I don't need clout. I just want to talk, have fun, meet people, enjoy life, make a couple people cry. I love making people cry in the best possible way. Not like, oh, I'm going to make you cry and make you feel bad. I want you to cry because you feel so good. Like, you can't believe that this amazing thing is happening to you and it just makes you choke up or cry. Like, I love that. I love making people, I like crying. I like feeling choked. I like having that feeling of, damn, that's incredible. I cry all the time at stuff most people shouldn't cry at. For sure. I cry at things that it should be, it's happy. It's, oh, this person feels so much love and it chokes me up. I enjoy it so much. So hopefully people will just get on board. They'll ignore the numbers. They'll jump on. We can all help people. I don't need the clout. And we can make this something great. Something that's huge and something that changes a lot of lives. If you're seeing this, please hit that like button, hit subscribe, share it with your friends. Let's turn this into something big. I don't want the clout. I just want to help. If you want the clout, let's figure out how we can help. Let's help each other, help others. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this episode. Thank you all if you watched. Thank you if you subscribed. Thank you for just being someone that wants to help. And let's help some bad kids and figure out why they're bad. I'll see you guys on the next one.